thought was going to be their guy, but he ends up not really playing well last year. And when that happens, he ends up going somewhere else. So that didn't work out well for him. But they get a 6th-round selection for the quarterback there for the Panthers. So interesting stuff there. We've got other news today, including the Patriots have made calls for several different spots trying to move into the top 5 for a quarterback. Now, here's the thing. I think that if the Patriots if they want Justin Fields, which that's kind of the thing there. Everybody's thinking, oh, Justin Fields is going to go to the Patriots, and basically they're going to try to set it up where he may be mentored by Cam Newton. Anybody ever think Cam Newton would be a mentor? I wasn't buying all that. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's going to be the guy. But if the Patriots really want him, all they have to do is just let people keep talking him down. Because he went from being the guy that was projected to be the first-round pick, or first pick after Trevor Lawrence, and now they're talking about he's behind, like he's like the 5th quarterback in some drafts. So, yeah, that's interesting too. And we'll take your calls this afternoon on the NFL draft if you want to get into that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to get involved with the program. Levon Kirkland joining us here shortly. We're going to talk about his draft back in 1992. And I was doing some research on his draft, and it's kind of interesting because his draft was like, there were some interesting picks in that draft that were way ahead of him. It's fun to look back at some of those. So we'll get into that when Levon calls us here in a little bit. Also, the list of teams that were interested in Deshaun Watson. Man, that's interesting too. According to John McClain of the Houston Chronicle, 8 teams had showed interest. That's kind of crazy. All right, I think we're going to get Levon Kirkland on the phone here. Let's head out to the phones, and we'll welcome in Levon Kirkland. Of course, Levon is in the Ring of Honor up at Clemson. Does some pretty cool stuff now that he is out of the football realm up there. And let's get Levon on the phone here. Levon, welcome into the program. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's great for you to join us here on the Rundown. I know you're a busy guy, especially around the draft time. In fact, I did some research last night, and apparently the Pittsburgh Steelers are still writing about you on their website. I found your draft memories on the Pittsburgh Steelers website. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's a significant.
What's that? Go ahead. You dropped off on me there, Levon. Hello. All right, phone system's acting silly. All right, so we'll hopefully I think his cell dropped on us there. That's kind of funny. All right, anyway, Levon, are you there? Hello, sir. Levon? Oh, goodness. Technology is wonderful when it works. Levon Kirkland, are you there, sir? Your cell's dropping out on us. All right, we'll wait on Levon to come back here. But teams that were interested in the Deshaun Watson trade.
Hello?
Yeah, Levon, hey, man, your cell dropped out on us, buddy. Sorry about that.
Hello?
Hey, Levon, hello. Hello. I'm about to call Levon. Yeah, Levon, are you there, sir? I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, hey, man, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Okay, well, your phone got kind of silly on us, but we were talking about the Steelers doing a little draft piece on you on their website. Let's go back to that year in 1992, man. Kind of an interesting draft. Number 1 overall pick was Steve Emtman. How was your draft set up that day? I mean, you didn't make the trip to the big spot. I mean, you stayed at home, right?
Yeah, actually I went to my sister's home. She lives in Sumter, South Carolina. My oldest sister went to her house. I begged her to get two-way calling at the time because, it was pretty brand new. she fussed at me about getting that, but she did get it, so I wouldn't miss a call. So it was really just me and the family that was there. My brothers and sisters really watched it. My parents couldn't really care less. And I just kind of sat there and just kind of waited. You know, I was a little nervous, but I felt like I was going to get drafted pretty highly. I didn't think it was going to be top 10, but I thought sure it would be, you know, at least the first part of the second round.
You know, with that, though, tell us a little bit about the lead up to the draft. I mean, how many teams did you work out for? Did you do the combine? How did that go?
Yeah, you know, I did the combine. I did the Senior Bowl, which I think really helped me because at the time I played outside linebacker, defensive end for Clemson, and nobody ever saw me play the inside position. So when I went there at the Senior Bowl, Art Shell suggested that I switch positions. He said, we want to really see you at the inside linebacker position. And I was like, okay, I never played that position before, but we'll give it a shot. So I gave it a shot. I had a really good Senior Bowl. And, you know, we worked, you know, I went to the combines, and we didn't have what they call pro day, where you just had that one day you worked out for a bunch of teams. You basically worked out for teams like almost every week, and sometimes twice a week. So me and Ed McDaniels at the time would always seem to be working out for different teams, and probably worked out for maybe 10 or so teams at the time.
So you had like a long, drawn-out process there to get to the point where draft day is there. You know, but looking back on that draft, man, I mean, there were some guys that I look above you that were taken there in the draft. Some guys from in-state, you know, Chester McLaughlin, and of course Robert Porcher from South Carolina State, who was a really good player too, right?
Yeah, you know, that year South Carolina had a bunch of guys. The state of South Carolina had a bunch of guys who were going to go pretty decently in the draft. So yeah, that year was definitely a South Carolina year. And we had some guys that were definitely great pros. Chester McLaughlin, may he rest in peace, and a good friend of mine is Robert Porcher. So, and then, you know, Ed McDaniels went as well. I think Robert Brooks was in that draft also. So we had a bunch of guys who went into the draft.
Going into that draft, though, did you work out with that set of guys? Where was it basically, did you work out with just the Clemson guys? Did you work out with some of the other guys, or was it by your agent? How did that come about?
You got to know, it's not like it is now.
Right.
So, you just kind of worked out. I want to say kind of on your own. I kind of worked out at Clemson allowed me to still work out. So my workout schedule was there. It wasn't really set up by any agent. Matter of fact, I didn't have an agent my first year. So, I just kind of did my thing. You know, I worked out with a track coach, tried to get a little better. And, you know, I just kind of did what I always did, was pretty consistent as far as working out. You know, I thought my workouts went well, but I think the thing that really helped me a whole lot was that my film really showed. You know, I produced for 4 straight years. Everybody figured out what I could do. And, you know, it was really the Steelers that seemed to be the most intrigued about me as a player. And I think they were intrigued about moving a outside linebacker to inside linebacker, and just to see how that goes. But no, I just kind of worked out on my own, and, you know, made sure I carved out time to do that. It's not, you know, like it is now, where, you know, guys are working out with some of the same guys that, you know, the agents have. It wasn't like that at all. You just kind of did your own thing.
Okay, well, you mentioned, you know, things were a lot different back then, and, you know, where the contracts basically, I mean, obviously it was for less than it is now with just the passing of time, but did you kind of already know, hey, this is what I'm going to make where I sign? I mean, you set up that first contract on your own?
Well, you know, you kind of knew that. I mean, it all depends on where you got picked.
Right.
You know, I was the 38th pick, so basically I made more than the 39th pick in less than a 37th pick. That's kind of how I went.
You know, if my grandmother were alive, she would slap me in the back of my head for asking that gentleman about how much money he made. What's wrong with you, boy? I could hear her telling me that.
No. I get it, but no, it was just kind of a scale. You know, it just kind of went down the line. You know, you don't make more than the person in front of you, and you make more than the person behind you. So it was just pretty simple. You just had to make sure you looked at what the contracts were. And, that was kind of difficult for me. I didn't really know what was going on, but it worked out pretty well. It really did. Even my first contract, it worked out well. I wouldn't have had an agent until I came up to my second contract, and it was going to be a bigger contract, and I didn't really want to negotiate it. I didn't think I was really prepared to do that. So I ended up getting the agent that I had for the remaining of my career. But yeah, it was a simpler process back then. That money still was a lot of money back then. Trust me, it still was definitely more money than I was, that I ever had before. My parents ever had before. Anybody in my family. So it was still significant. But yeah, it was kind of simple as well.
You were able to pay. It was enough that you were able to pay your sister back for the two-way calling.
Yeah, I was able to hook her up. Yeah. Yeah, man, she got on me that day. She's like, boy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on, please.
Can you imagine? I just can't imagine you being the big linebacker there from Clemson heading to the draft and your sister giving you a talking to about that two-way calling bill.
Let me tell you, I tell everybody this that know me. In my family, I'm like the seventh child, and basically that's how they treat me. I have no say-so in anything. Anytime we have a cookout or anything like that, they tell me to bring either paper products or the drinks or the dessert.
You're not that guy bringing paper plates, Levon. I can't believe that, sir.
I know. I'm a leader for everybody else in the world, but in my circle, my family circle, I'm like the seventh child. I really have no decision-making.
That's a blessing and a curse in disguise, I guess. All right.
In a way, yes, it is.
Let's going back to the day of the draft, though. You kind of, I guess, you kind of had the vibe that it was going to be the Steelers. Was there another team that you had in the mix there that you were like, all right, I may end up heading that direction?
At one time I thought maybe the Dallas Cowboys and the San Diego Chargers. And the reason why I thought the Cowboys because I actually went out to Dallas to visit those guys. So I had a visit with Jimmy Johnson and, kind of look around the locker room. Just had a feel for the Dallas Cowboys. And then, but the Pittsburgh thing was more so because the whole coaching staff and the scouting staff kind of interviewed me during that time. I had, Mel Kiper thought maybe San Diego, that I may have an opportunity to go out there. But, the draft, you really never know. It's just it's funny that you have, when you come out of high school, you have your choice of where you want to go. And you make that choice. And you get better as an athlete, as a football player. And in the NFL, most likely, you don't have a choice of where you're going to go. So the future was just up in the air. And that was the stressful and scary part about it. But I felt good about Pittsburgh because maybe what Bill Cowher told me. And so when they were about to pick 38, I went into the bathroom before they wrote millions of books about manifesting and visualizing, I went into that bathroom and I was like, they're going to pick me. They're going to pick me. They're going to pick me. And I actually went to the kitchen table and I sat by the phone and the phone rang. It was Pittsburgh Steelers. So I just put it out in the atmosphere. I was like, they're going to pick me. I don't care what they're thinking. I'm going to give them a little bit of a nudge. And they picked me. Yeah, it was kind of cool.
That is kind of neat. By the way, we had our buddy Brock online says, what's wrong with bringing paper plates? That's kind of funny. All right.
Well, yeah, I like paper plates. I always have paper plates. But, yeah, in my family, man, I'm the paper plate guy. I think I just got it promoted to desserts. But, since COVID, that hasn't been happening. So I got to make sure that my game is up when I go next time we have a gathering that my paper products are good, and also that I picked out really good desserts.
All right, there you go with that. But once you're drafted, is it kind of a whirlwind type thing? Or the Steelers, telling you, hey, you have to be at X spot on X day? What was the process after you were drafted?
Yeah, I relate it sometimes to, like, you get married and that day is so happy for you, and you just got to think about the happiest day. Something great happened. And by that Thursday, we were already in mini camps, and and you see all the other veterans there because Bill Cowher, he was new, so you got a little bit of extra training time. So,
right.
The NFL allowed you to have another camp. And this camp, the first one we went to was with the veterans. So you get there and you realize that the NFL is a higher caliber than college. And everybody can run, everybody can play, and you're like, holy smokes, this is for real. So it was whirlwind, all right. It was like you get drafted, hey, we love you, and then, you come into mini camps and the veterans at the time are not talking to you. And so it was a different experience.
Well, and
it was something like, you're a grown man, so you better act accordingly.
Yeah, and not to sound like it's a barbaric type atmosphere, but when they bring you in, you're in theory competing for someone's job, right?
Yeah, you're competing with someone's job that, has a wife, has a mortgage, has kids, and they're not trying to give up that spot easily. And, like I said, I was a second round pick, so we had a guy named David Little, and we had a guy named Hardy Nickerson. And they're those are the two starters on the team. And they think in their mind that I'm there to take their spot, which, I am. I'm there to compete, and I'm there to be a starter. I wasn't a starter that first year, but they knew that I was coming. So, yeah, it was, I got along with those guys pretty well, but that first mini camp, that first training camp, it was not a rookies-friendly environment.
Well, but then, of course, the table kind of turns towards at the end of your career. You retire, and then you get an opportunity to be an NFL coach out in Arizona with Coach Ahrens. And when you were with him, how did the draft process work for you? Did you help with evaluation of talent? How did that work out?
Yeah, honestly, I was involved. They had me work out guys. They had me maybe scout guys a little bit and, be in the big room and talk to, what my opinion was of certain guys. And, that's, it's a different thing because I haven't done that before. I did a little bit. Well, actually, I did a little bit when I interned with Pittsburgh. But, yeah, guys, and it was kind of neat in a lot of ways because, it's just your opinion. It's just kind of what you thought of guys without really doing a whole lot of evidence as far as I'm concerned. You just kind of looked at their film. But I think there's a little bit more to it when you're talking about picking the guys that are going to be your organization. It is something that you really have to get up and get to know that guy, and you have to really study it. That's why teams have these scouting departments so they can just do that. It's unlike college when you're kind of recruiting guys as well as, putting in the scheme and the play calling. It's like, you have to really study these guys and see what guys really fit into your system. And, I enjoyed that part. I really enjoyed doing that. It was a lot of fun.
Is it really a crapshoot? I mean, just to be honest, you may have a couple of guys that are really cut above the rest, but in reality, you see guys, and we use Tom Brady as an example, being a 6th round draft pick, but in the end, is it all a crapshoot at the very end of it?
I wouldn't call it a crapshoot, but I wouldn't say it's an exact science either, because there's some guys that you think are going to do well, and then you put them in a situation and they don't, and then vice versa. You think that a guy is not that great, and then he gets out there and he makes plays. So it really, you hope to be very consistently good at evaluating players and getting those players. And I think that's why teams like, I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers as far as their defense. They've been playing that defense since I've been playing, since 1992, basically.
Yeah.
With a few wrinkles here and there. So they know basically who to put in those situations. Because that system has been going on for so long. So they understand what to look for as far as an outside linebacker is concerned, an inside linebacker is concerned. And that's why they've been doing so well as far as picking linebackers. So I think it's really just kind of who fits you and, how it works in your system. Or do you design a system that works around the player? And I think that's how you get players. I think, I always say organizations kind of, for the most part, make players a bust or so. And then you get some players, man, that just they don't do what it takes to be a great football player. And these are the guys I'm talking about who are very talented, who should be great football players, but some reason or another they don't do what it takes to get there. Then you got guys, man, that are busting their butt, but they're not as talented, or it's a numbers game. So, yeah, in a way, it is a crapshoot, but, it's a little bit of science that goes behind it as well. I mean, you gotta be able to see that player and see where he can be on your team. For example, me and Chad Brown, that were the inside linebackers at Pittsburgh, we were outside linebackers. We never played inside. So for them to see that and say, like, hey, we need two big athletic guys. And, yeah, they're not experienced as far as understanding the reads, but we can teach them that. And sometimes that works. So sometimes you are blowing in your hands, rolling the dice.
I hear you on that. All right, let me ask you a couple of questions about this year's draft. Levon Kirkland joins us here on the Rundown this afternoon. There's a couple of linebackers that I'm looking at that I think are going to be good players. One is Monty Rice from Georgia, and one is Nick Bolton from Mizzou. Both, of course, played in the SEC. Both are 6 foot tall and weigh about 230 pounds apiece. The knock on both guys isn't the fact that they didn't play at a Power 5 school, or the fact that they didn't make plays while they were in college. It's the fact that they're 6 foot tall. Do you think people are hung up on you need your linebackers to be 6'2", 6'3", or, I mean, we've seen linebackers at 6 foot flat make it in the NFL, but does that extra inch or two really drop a lot of guys down the draft board?
You know what? I think there is a bias to it. One of my favorite players was Sam Mills.
Oh yeah,
and Mike Singletary, and those guys were not 6 foot. They were 5'11". I think sometimes as long as you can move, the inside linebacker position can work for you. I don't think you have to be 6 foot. It just seems like a great measurement. And I think, can a guy play? I think that's the biggest question. When you look at him on film, can he play? And then when you look at him as far as movement, can he move? Because sometimes you can be a linebacker, especially inside linebackers, and you're blitzing a whole bunch, and you're being covered up. It doesn't really give you a true evaluation of what they can do. So it's a position that, you have to watch the film, but you have to watch the guy, and he has to have those qualities. So, you look at Darius Leonard from South Carolina State.
Right.
People didn't look at him because he went to South Carolina State. Then you go down, you evaluate, and be like, whoa, this guy can really play. So, like I said, it really takes a scout or a team to really look at this player and evaluate him, and truthfully, honestly, and if he fits what you want or he's who you want, then there's an opportunity. So I think the whole height thing is a little overrated in my view, but some people like that. They like, having a guy who's 6'2".
Going to be interesting to see how some of that goes with the draft tomorrow. And Of course, Levon Kirkland joining us here. Levon, I'd like you to come back in the opening week of the college season, man. Actually, come and sit with us in studio because I think we can make that happen now with the pandemic somewhat getting behind us. Would you do that with us? Come sit in with us a little bit?
You know I will. It will be my honor to come and talk some football with you. I hope I can share some knowledge and experience that I have. But, yeah, I'll be happy to do that, and I look forward to it.
Well, I will buy you lunch that day as long as you don't do the whole rookie lunch thing with me and leave me with the big bottle tab, all right?
As long as I don't do the what?
Leave me with the big bottle tab, the whole thing of everybody buys a bottle.
No, if you can, if you can feed me something, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
we'll work that out, man. That'll work out for us. But
yeah, don't be giving me like Tito's or anything like that.
No. We'll go have lunch beforehand.
Out there.
We'll go have some lunch beforehand. It's not a big deal. All right, so we got that set up. But tell folks where they can follow you on Twitter and some. I seen a picture of you online the other day, and you were in a nice suit with some young people. Tell us about that.
Was it in football? Was I coaching or what?
No, I think you were standing there with some plaques with some young folks. It looked like something with the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh yeah, it was with the Hall of Fame, yes. And you can reach us. You can reach me there. WWSC football spell out HOF.org. You can reach me on Twitter. I think I always forget my Twitter handle, but I think it's Levon _Kirkland or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and all that jazz too. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Look for the guy who still has a little bit of a baby face on him and dimples.
And the dimples too. All right, Levon.
The dimples work.
That's funny, man.
All right, man, Rob. Be good, bro.
Appreciate you joining us, man. Thank you, Levon. Have a great day. Levon Kirkland joining us here on the Rundown, talking a little bit about his draft experience. He's going to come in before the first week of the season, so we'll talk some SEC and ACC stuff with him. And Levon Kirkland had an amazing career, not only on the field, but off the field. I actually coached in college and coached in the NFL with Bruce Arians out at Arizona. Did all kind of stuff there. Now he's doing some stuff with the South Carolina Hall of Fame. And he comes on the show when I ask him to, which is cool of him. Give us some of his football knowledge. All right, we'll take a quick break and we come back. Brock with the line of the day. Look for the guy with the paper plates. That's hilarious. All right, quick break and we come back. We'll have more for you here on the Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Make sure your hands are free.
Hey, man, Levon's a trip, man. Just with the stuff he's done. What's up, Tom? How are you? I've got a Patriots thing on for you. I actually pulled a Patriots draft story just thinking that you would be here today. Look at that. New Rob and Kale show tonight. Yeah, they're going to have some fans at the draft, from what I'm told. So that's kind of interesting. I just read something a little bit ago where the Atlanta Braves are opening up to 100% at Truist Park. So there's that. Well, now he's a Super Bowl winning coach there, Blake. To the gentleman who likes the Spurs Up show, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you checking us out. If you like the Spurs Up show, that's for you, my friend. We try to be a little different here. So there's plenty of places where you can go and catch some content. Edwin, what's up, my friend? Good to see you, sir. Oh, man. I tell you what, man, the draft stuff is insane when you really stop and think about it. Woo-wee. There's stuff all over the place. Hey, am I the only one that doesn't like the commissioner? I'm just saying, I don't like the commissioner. I don't like the commissioner. Brock, why don't we, if you want to be on the show, Brock, why don't we bring you on the Rob and Kale show first, and then we'll go from there. How's that sound? We can do that. Yeah, it's weird seeing fans in the stands, man. It really is. If you want to come on the show, we'll bring you on the show. I don't care. I'll make you have your own nice little square there. We can do that. It's not a problem. I'm loving the Georgia fans, by the way. Georgia fan. If you go back and look at the some of the comments on some of the videos that we've done, Georgia fans are in full force, man. They are hanging all their apples in that tree in that game on September the 4th. It would just break my ever-loving heart if they lost. It would break my ever-loving heart if they lost. Oh, man. Brock, the thing is that I can bring you in, but I have to make sure that you're able to hang up. We have to make sure that you can, be radio ready before I bring you in here. Otherwise, it'll be like, what are you doing, Rob? So do the podcast with us first, and we'll bring you in here. No big deal. Oh, man. I'm thinking about doing video game simulations, too, where I'll stream those, too. If you guys are up for that, let me know, because I can figure out a way to make that work. So it's nothing personal, Brock. I just, before I bring folks in here, I have to make sure they're with it. That's all. That's a good point. Good point there, Jimmy. Good point. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Levon Kirkland joined us earlier. If you missed the interview with Levon, check it out. It'll be up about 5 o'clock this afternoon, as we talked about everything from his draft experience to the draft measurables to all kind of stuff. So if you want to check that out, we can go from there. It's very very cool stuff there with Levon Kirkland. And we talked about when he worked with the Cardinals and selecting and working out guys and things like that. So good stuff there from Levon. The breaking news earlier today, the Carolina Panthers have traded away Teddy Bridgewater. They basically give him, they get like a 6th round draft pick for Bridgewater. He's going to go to the Denver Broncos. They're going to pay half of his, or a piece of his salary. I don't know if it's half. I think it's going to be a piece of his salary to go to the Denver Broncos. And it's kind of he wasn't going to play for the Panthers anyway. And the Denver Broncos have been looking for a quarterback since realistically, John Elway left. I guess they had Jake Plummer at one point, but the reality is that everybody's in need of that quarterback. And Teddy Bridgewater at one point, when he was at Minnesota, he was a guy that could throw the ball down the field a good bit. They had that leg injury. They ended up putting him out there, went down to New Orleans, moved around a good bit, ended up with the Panthers. Can he catch that spark and be an NFL quarterback, or even just be a guy that can be a veteran that could mold the next guy? So there's that. But basically a 6th round pick is what Teddy Bridgewater went for. We also had the list dropped by the Houston Chronicle by the teams that were interested in Deshaun Watson before all of these legal issues came out. That list of teams included the Jets, Dolphins, Panthers, Broncos, 49ers, Patriots, Bears, and the Washington football team. All were in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. It makes you wonder, he had a no trade clause in his contract, so he has to agree to whatever trade that they come up with. Are any of those that he would be like, yeah, not so much? I don't think I would go to the Washington football team. I don't think I would go to the Bears. If I'm Deshaun Watson and I had my choice, it would be the Dolphins, maybe the Panthers, or the 49ers. All those other teams, you might as well stay in Houston if winning's important to you. Just saying. Maybe Washington would be, they'd be number 4 on the list. They seem to be getting it done with the defense there a little bit. So there's that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call. If you want to join us here on the rundown this afternoon, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Would love to take your call today on the NFL draft. I have a story on the New England Patriots that we'll get into about they're making calls about possibly trading into the top 5. Is Julio Jones going to be traded? Point to ponder there. Our team's going to wait out the Deshaun Watson saga, because that's basically what it is now. The Deshaun Watson saga. And I wonder if behind the scenes things are going to happen where there's going to be a settlement of some sort. Just saying. Tom Online says the Patriots want Lance. The Patriots should want Justin Fields. That's who they should want. They should want Trevor Lawrence, but they're lighting up the bridge in Jacksonville in Clemson colors for Trevor Lawrence. So I'm pretty sure the mayor's got the in on that. And, you know, he's going to be going there. So they want Trevor Lawrence, but they can't have him. So they should be getting Justin Fields. They should avoid Mac Jones. I don't think that's going to work out for them. It should be Justin Fields right there from the bit. Brock says, if I were Deshaun and had a choice, I would choose to go and get a massage. Very good, Brock. Very good comment there. You can comment as well on the Fox Sports Radio 1400 Facebook page, streaming live every day. Join that group of folks that are over there as they comment every day. Got a pretty good chat room built up every day over there with all kinds of off-the-top rope, Macho Man, Randy Savage type thing. So, yeah. Would look forward to catching you over there. You can also join us on the phones at 803-978-1832. Tyler Crowder, our NFL draft expert, joins us on tomorrow. He's mapped out the entire first 3 rounds, and a lot of it's pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff, man. So we'll get some of his stuff tomorrow, and we're going to talk draft busts and draft steals tomorrow. I've already given you my 2. I like the linebacker from Georgia. And I like Nick Bolton from Mizzou. So if I were picking, I would go with those 2 guys. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Tom, I understand that Clemson is your standard, and everything evolves around who beat Clemson. And this happened to Clemson. And I get that, but you should think a little bit higher than that. Just a little bit. Just saying. I know that the world, everything evolves around what Clemson does, but slow down a little bit with that. Don't be a Georgia fan, Tom. I have more respect for you than that, sir. Man, these people, this Monty Rice guy, I watched a bunch of his stuff. He's a good player. What's going on with that? Why is he down the list? I don't know. Yeah, I think if I were the Patriots, what I would do is, and since Bill Belichick can get away with this because he doesn't care what people think, I would get, a wide receiver or get Kyle Pitts and then wait. And what I mean wait for is wait for Watson because everybody else is already making moves. The Patriots can go with Cam Newton right now and then get Deshaun Watson. I think they can do that. And I don't think they care about the backlash with the media. I really don't. So there's that. Anyway, the Georgia fans are priceless. That would be the most you know what? I'll highlight that because that's funny. That may be the most Bill Belichick thing ever. Yeah, I'm just going to give everybody the finger.
Hey, it's Tumbleweed. Nothing goes better with authentic Southern food than the soft drink Cheerwine. Why, it was just the other night I was enjoying some grilled hamburgers with some delicious ice-cold Cheerwine right on my back deck. Nothing better than a juicy burger with an ice-cold Cheerwine. I love it.
You guys are hilarious over there.
Try some local flavor today with your favorite food. It's Southern Food's trusty cherry sidekick, Cheerwine, uniquely Southern.
iHeartRadio is partnering with
Well, did you guys see the thing? I think I brought it up on the show the other day, where in the past 20 years, Georgia hasn't won a national championship in football, baseball, or basketball, men's or women's. But like every other team in the SEC has, except for Texas A&M, Mizzou, and Arkansas. Kind of a crazy list there, right?
We work directly with families and communities across the country to help save lives, and we can help you too. To end addiction, start with connection. Reach out to us at drug-free.
Yes, Jimmy, he's going to be the first one. Wait till you hear who, according to this report, the Patriots are going to give up there, Tom. I didn't tell you this, but wait until you hear who they may give up to move up. A very Bill Belichick type move. Oh no, not Cam Newton. No. Watch Tom. I wish I could see Tom's face right now, especially when I read this. He's not going to be happy. Well, welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. I mentioned the New England Patriots earlier. Here's what we got, ladies and gentlemen. They are potentially, according to several reports, moving up into the top 5 for one quarterback. Now, how are they going to get into the top 5? Now, everybody that's a Patriots fan is normally going to say, well, don't they just stow away draft picks? They end up with 4 more draft picks than everybody else in the league anyway. Not this time. Not this time. According to ESPN's Diana Rossini, the Pats have been in contact with one team in the top 10, and superstar cornerback Stefan Gilmore, the former South Carolina great, could be involved in a trade package after months of speculation that he could be moved dating back to the 2020 trade deadline. It's unclear if the Atlanta Falcons are the team that Rossini heard from, but with the number 4 pick in tow, they've reportedly been in contact with New England. Now think about that. Trading the number 4 pick for Stefan Gilmore, who won, Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago, something like that. Not taking anything away from Stefan Gilmore. He is absolutely outstanding. But Stefan Gilmore in NFL years is long in the tooth. And the idea of, I don't know if the Patriots can do that or not, but possibly getting his contract off the books and the potential to move up, that's the very New England Patriot thing to do. And with that, they've got him going after Justin Fields. That's the guy they want. And they think they got to get into the top 5 to do it. Maybe number 4. I don't know for sure. But I know if I'm the Atlanta Falcons, I'm at a very tough spot. And when Tyler comes on tomorrow, we'll ask him about this because he does a lot of stuff there with the Falcons. The big thing with them is that they still think that they've got a quarterback with Matt Ryan who's still got some years left. And they're financially spent into Ryan. So that's the problem with the Falcons right now. They need basically a running back. A perfect pick for them would be Najee Harris or Travis Etienne. But they need help in a lot of spots. But they've got Julio Jones and they've got Matt Ryan. They want to try to build around that, but those are the contracts that are kind of hindering them right now. But it's one of those things they kind of have to pay it. One of those things. Little things here, little things there. But apparently, could Stefan Gilmore be in the mix? So one of the things that may turn them away from the Falcons, obviously, is that they're in salary cap hell right now. So that may not be the way that it goes there, but you can involve more teams in trades. I do think that Mac Jones is going to be the guy that's going to get drafted tomorrow night, and the world's going to go like, huh? Wait, what? Interesting with that. I also wonder tomorrow how people are going to deal with Jamie Newman, who's probably going to get drafted by somebody. Are we going to call him a Georgia product? Are Georgia and Wake Forest going to fight for him on Twitter? Wait a minute, he played here, but he didn't play there. But how do they announce? I mean, what is the league going to call him? Is he a quarterback from Georgia or a quarterback from Wake Forest? Is Georgia going to take credit for him? We know the SEC is going to take credit for him, even though he was at Georgia. Therefore, he's one of the 18 million players that played for the SEC that are in the draft. You know, the stat they give you every year, the SEC is dominated. They had 21 of the 30 first round picks or whatever it is. Yeah, that stat that's kind of silly. Wonder who will take care of Jamie Newman and who will claim him. Will it be Wake Forest who he left or Georgia who he left? Or will he just come out and say, I'm from Jamie Newman University or, from whatever high school he went to? Some people do that. I know, who was it? Randy Moss did that. He put that he was from his high school instead of Marshall and Florida State and everything else. So there's that. Tom says he's another ACC QB bust. How good was Mitchell? That's funny. Yeah, there's that too. But I wonder how that's going to work out. That's going to be an interesting thing. And a couple of other notes. Where's J.C. Horn going to go? Will there be 2 running backs drafted in the first round? Lots of cool stuff for tomorrow for the draft. I kind of get into the draft like late, man. I'm one of those that I follow it and then it'll be on at the house for a good bit there. But then it's like, it's kind of on in the background. That's kind of how it'll be all weekend. But looking forward to the draft. I know that Trevor Lawrence, of course, going to Jacksonville, and that's a big deal for the Clemson folks. So good stuff there. Blake says he likes Patrick Surtain over J.C. Horn. Me personally, I think that Horn's outstanding. Someone asked what was the biggest story or highlight from that Carolina spring game. Go back and check out the podcast. We had on Coach Eric Wilson. He broke all of that down for us. You can go and check that out. Horn might be a slide, but whoever gets him will have a gem. He's the only true man island-style corner in the draft. Yeah. Someone compared him to Darrelle Revis. Think about that. Darrelle Revis. Remember Revis Island and all that? Yeah. I don't know if he can be that good, but he definitely has the capability as far as the athletic ability to be that great. So, yeah, looking forward to the draft tomorrow. All right, don't forget, Lawton Swan of Clemson Sports Talk is the czar of Clemson Sports. He will join you here from 4 to 6.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Yes.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
All right, we get it. As he will take you home today from 4 to 6. Swan looks has great stuff set up for you this afternoon. I'm sure he'll do some NFL draft stuff and plenty of other things on his famous show there, Clemson Sports Talk. You can follow it on Twitter at Clemson Sports, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. My blog page is up at FoxSportsRadio1400.com. You might want to bookmark that because I every year for the draft, I end up posting a lot of stuff. Just saying. I will not post what Brock Lee just said, but I will repeat it here. I wonder what round Colin Hill will get drafted in. Whoa, bump, bump, bump. That is a savage statement there, sir. Very savage statement. Oh, by the way, the world is a better place. Coach Probst down at Valdosta is not going to be there anymore. That's a good thing. Get those coaches that are cheaters out of the business. Yeah, that's some good stuff. We may talk about that tomorrow after we get done with our draft preview. Then, of course, Friday is the draft recap. Yes, we'll have all that for you. Who made the dumb moves? There'll be plenty. We'll have that for you on the rundown on Friday. Tyler Crowder tomorrow, our NFL draft expert with his final selections. And I'm buying basically what Tyler said, but I'll give you some of mine too. More of the rundown tomorrow. Thanks for checking us out right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. You guys are awesome, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Looking forward to the draft. Be here tomorrow. We'll have NFL draft stuff, man. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.